Hi, everybody. My name is Garrett Hoddle with Podcast Architects, and today I'm joined from left to right, Dr. Seth Sampson, who is an assistant professor with Texas A&M International University. Right in the middle here, we have Cindy Dominguez, who is a CCMR Coordinator with Laredo ISD. And finally, on the end here, we have Jerry Castaneda, who is an HR Coordinator with Laredo ISD. And I mentioned this before. A lot of people sitting on the other side of the camera are probably wondering, what do those titles mean? Yours is pretty straightforward. It says assistant professor, but Dr. Sampson, tell me exactly what do you do?
Well, I'm an assistant professor of school counseling, so I prepare our graduate students that are wanting to become school counselors, and primarily they need to be school teachers for at least 2 years in any type of educational setting. So we want to make sure they have that experience, and then they come into TAMIU to become school counselors.
And there's a lot of stuff that we're going to get into, especially in relation to your titles and what you guys do. But let's go ahead and move on just so we can get an introduction from everybody. Cindy, CCMR Coordinator.
Yes.
With the Laredo ISD. Help me out. What exactly do you do?
So CCMR stands for College Career and Military Readiness. I am a former school counselor, graduated from TAMIU. I missed him being my professor. But so CCMR, what we do is it's like a counselor on a bigger scale for the district. So we ensure that our students are, for accountability purpose and for the students, that they're prepared. Either they're going college bound through dual credit, TSI, SAT, all that stuff, certification route career, so, bed assistants, welding, workforce, right, culinary, and then military. So because we are a part of CTE, Career Technical Education, so we also, JROTC or military is now also part of that program, so we also oversee that. So providing opportunities.
And you guys actually work in the same building.
Yes.
Yes.
Right? What did you say, first floor and second floor?
I'm on first floor.
First floor and second.
Second.
Jerry, tell me exactly what do you do? Your title is HR Coordinator.
Coordinator. My main role there should be. We have a lot of things to do, but my main role is teacher quality and certification, making sure that all our teachers are certified through the state of Texas. We do have some teachers coming in with internships, either from universities or what they call EPP programs, educator prep programs. So we work with those teachers, an average of about 60, 80 teachers a year, because we got new teachers that we hire every year. So I make sure that they get certified within a certain time frame. It's very important because we have to be compliant with the state. And amongst other things, I do a lot of job fairs. I do a lot of teacher recruiting. I work with a lot of principals, so that all the principals in our campuses, because of the T-Test, Texas Teacher Evaluation Support System, which is the evaluation tool for teachers. So I work very closely with all principals at all campuses.
So it sounds like, and we're all here in Laredo, but you guys are really, if I had to describe it to somebody, basically preparing the communities of the future from not just the student on the student level. I think you were mentioning to me earlier, Dr. Sampson, from as early as like middle school, right? Getting kids ready on the teacher level to even administration, as you were kind of mentioning a little bit there. It sounded like, Jerry. Tell me about some of the main things that you guys are doing right now. Dr. Sampson, let's start with you. Is there a specific program or something that you're working on right now that maybe you're proud of or something that you've been delegating most of your time to? I know that's kind of broad.
Well, yeah. Within the past 2 years, actually, there hasn't been a lot of collegiate chapters of what's known as Texas Association of Future Educators. And we initiated the first collegiate chapter in the A&M system here at TAMIU. And that was about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. And how that came about is we've had some students that had TAFE experience at the high school level, and they came into one of our classes that actually our dean was the professor for. And they said, "Do you have a TAFE chapter here at TAMIU?" And he said, "Well, what's TAFE?" So we started that conversation, and that's how it kind of It grew from that.
And I asked you this earlier, and you kind of explained it there. What exactly is TAFE?
Well, TAFE is that Texas Association of Future Educators that exposes students all the way down into middle school about what the education profession all entails, and it has definitely opportunities to create networks for individuals at the middle school setting to create lessons and look at, okay, is this something that I want to do? And if they want to pursue that even further, well, then they can do that and get more exposure at the high school level.
And excuse me if I'm wrong, Cindy, you actually work some with Taffy, right?
Yeah, yes and no. So do you want me to, so my role in this is, I guess, to produce the product. We reach out to the middle schools, and through CTE, we offer the Principles of Ed class. And that's kind of where we can bring in Taffy, and we bring in the university, and start getting the kiddos involved and becoming aware of what an educator is. Because if you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it, right?
Yeah.
So we start them off as middle school, and then we have specialty schools. We have 6 and now a 7th. And some of them offer the education route, and so one of them is here on site with TAMIU, and then we have Nixon, and we have some at Cigarroa. And so from there, they take dual enrollment, so they'll take college classes that'll get them those hours towards their bachelor's degree. And then they take some education courses, and then the other route is also to get their certification as a teacher aide. And so what they're doing is that they're doing internships at our elementary schools, and that way they get some experience and some hours towards that. And then from there, they graduate high school, they go with them, and then he hires them.
And
So we're
that
trying
kind
to
of,
grow our own. Yeah.
that kind of brings it back. I'm gonna go back through some of these, because I want to make sure that I hit them right on the head, exactly here. And Jerry, that'd probably be a good one for me to start with. What experiences and support do you provide to improve teacher induction and enhance instructional quality among first year teachers? Excuse me.
Well, kind of our induction process is that, of course, we hire the teachers, we bring them on board. The first thing we do with them, of course, is provide an employee handbook orientation. We provide the teacher code of ethics to them. It's very important that they know that information. And then we also take them through a T-test orientation, which is the evaluation tool that they're going to be evaluated on. And once we do that, we, of course, make sure that they're content-specific certified to wherever they're going to be teaching at, whether it be English, math, science, social studies. And once they're on board at the campus, we make sure that they meet our group of support. And when I say group of support, I'm talking main office personnel. I'm talking about academic deans. I'm talking about CTE personnel, special ed personnel, bilingual department personnel, because teachers will be working with all these types of students and know how to address them. And of course, the discipline personnel, very big component of being, a successful teacher.
Oh no.
So amongst all those things, and then once they're at the campus, they also get a full mentor, and that mentor is going to be their buddy, their coach, their mom for the next year. Because basically they're going to guide them through the process, of course, of teaching, make sure they collaborate with everybody on staff, make sure they know the ins and outs out of, meetings for arts or meetings for bilingual and all those things that come into play, because their plates will be full the first year. And some of these teachers are still in the internship process. So not only are they becoming and getting, to become a better teacher, but they're also working with the program, the EPP program, and finishing up some projects that they need to complete so they can take their PPR and get their standard certification. So it's quite a table, full of things to do for that teacher.
Yeah, you said a full plate. It
full
sounds
plate,
like there's
yeah.
so much on that plate.
There is, and that's where the mentor comes in really handy. And of course, we're there to support too. I mean, I've had teachers call me and, I cannot get a hold of this person, or this person hasn't gone back to me. And I've kind of played that role to make sure that teacher has a smooth process and connecting all those individuals, because sometimes, you get lost in the shuffle. Like I said earlier, there's 60, 80 teachers that we hire a year, and we need to keep track of those.
And we're talking about, full plate and everything that's on that. And we're talking about all these different programs. One of the specific questions that I do need to ask you, Dr. Sampson, is how will you communicate admission requirements to potential teacher candidates? Help me out a little bit with this.
Yeah, so when individuals want to become a teacher especially, they're going to take at least 2 years worth of classes. However, if they take dual credit courses while they're still in high school, they kind of clear out some of that, and that really is to their benefit because they're not necessarily paying for that. So we want to encourage students to take the dual credit in secondary or in high school so they're not paying for some of those basics that they need to get out of the way. So once they come onto our campus, and even before that, we want to ensure that we're communicating that with them. But then we're also letting them know that once they take some of the basic courses that they want to become a teacher in those courses, we let them know that it's important that you look at these are the requirements, so have that set up. And we communicate that in multiple ways. We've seen campus-wide emails, or for students that are just in the College of Ed, to make sure that they're aware of, okay, this is what it takes. And we're creating a handbook that we're going to give out to students and members of the community.
Stop me if I'm wrong, but if I'm looking down here from, all the way to from starting with you to Jerry at the end there, it looks like I'm seeing the pathway from teachers starting, really end of middle school, early high school, all the way up into the administrative level. Am I kind of on that path? Because we're talking about different programs here.
Absolutely.
One thing that's unique about the TAMIU TAFE is that they include students from other majors, not just education, which works out in our favor because CTE or CCMR, we are, LISD is a district of innovation. So we hire welders of 20-some years to be the welding instructor. We hire a barber to be our barbering instructor. So they didn't necessarily go the education route, but they can become instructors. So it helps that they are education majors because of the discipline and the pedagogy and the lesson plans and the what they go through. But the district provides those mentors. So that is and I talked to Rachel about that. It's very unique that it's not just education majors, which works in our computer engineers. We have computer science courses. So we have kiddos working with drones and stuff like that. So it's exciting to see.
Mm-hmm. And I hopefully I'm not touching on the same thing that you already mentioned here, but I'm glad that you did say that right there. What are some ways that you're partnering with local districts to kind of promote teaching as a career?
With local districts, we're two.
Yeah. I know. Maybe just with Laredo ISD, maybe.
Well, because we have a good amount of elementaries and middle schools, and our principals are very open to allowing our students to be interns, we are working within. We partner with local community, like local agencies, depending on the path, the program of study of the student, more businesses than anything. But as far as the district, because we're both unique and we have a need within, we stay within.
Yeah, maybe I should have phrased it. What are some ways you're partnering with, or you partner with Laredo ISD, the local school district, to promote teaching as a whole?
Yes, so it's with the principals and
with the principal. Yeah, because we're two districts, but we are the older district in the city, and we're inner city. We're landlocked, so our tax base isn't growing the way the tax base is growing for the other school district.
Yes, sir.
They absorb all that growth on the outside and warehousing and residential, so they're picking up more tax base. And the reason why is because they're growing more in subdivisions and in population.
Yes, sir.
But we're landlocked, so
and there is a teacher shortage. So our principals are very excited to get our student interns to help, and we try to make sure that they're not making copies and that they're in the classroom and they're part of the literacy program and they're part of the lesson plan design and things like that, so that they do get that hands-on. So they're excited because not everybody wants to work in the summer in particular.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you guys this: you got a lot of experience in this field. Is this stuff that you guys are doing right now anything new or different that you haven't been doing, say, in the past 10 or 15 years?
To me, in my opinion, this is pretty cutting edge.
Yeah.
The collaboration and network that we have, especially, I would say, in the A&M system, we're kind of that spearhead of this type of collaboration. Yeah, there's some collaboration in districts and different universities, but I think this has been something that's been building for a couple of years, but we're trying to find opportunities to collaborate more and more.
Yeah, maybe looking from the outside, it's kind of surprising to me, but like if like seeing all you guys and talking to you right now, I would say that you all work for the same exact, these guys all work for Texas A&M International University, but you don't,
It's
which is
for-
kind of surprising to me.
I think we're all for the student. I think that's
Yeah.
that's why you see that, because ultimately the goal for the three of us is, and for the district and the university, is that we develop a successful student. And if we do that from the beginning, if we target them from the beginning in middle school and we keep them engaged, because we all change our mind.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that I was going to be doing this, right, for the, but you change path every certain amount of years. And so, but if you keep them engaged and if you teach them young and you show them, and we all work together and provide that support, then we develop a successful student who becomes a successful, engaging teacher that develops more successful students. So I think that's the ultimate goal for all of us.
I think that's a great
It
answer.
is, and again, I know I come to visit university students on the average of maybe 4 to 6 times a year, a school year. I come in talk to university students that are here on Saturdays, prepping for an exam or trying to pass an exam, and come in and just give them a little pep talk and let them know we're here and just hang in there, that kind of things. And then we also meet with our student teachers that are going to be doing their blocks. So we meet them early and we go over the educator code of ethics with them, dress code, things like that. So we're in constant communication with the university here.
Who do you think, sitting at home, whether say it's a kid or maybe another teacher or somebody that's looking at the programs that you guys are doing that's maybe in school administration, is like, I want to copy that. Is there anything that you think, hey, Garrett, I really think this needs to be mentioned or this should be included? And I know that's another broad question, so maybe maybe it doesn't come to mind right away, but let's start with you, Dr. Sampson. Anything?
Really looking at elevating the teaching profession as a whole and really strengthening the educator pathway from the school district, starting even in elementary school, having those supportive entities all the way through middle school when they're exposed to possibly going into the education field, and then looking at, okay, what can we do to support those individuals and create a sense of belonging? And one of those opportunities for a sense of belonging is to be a part of TAFE at the high school level. And if there isn't necessarily a chapter, we encourage the CTE teachers to see if they can actually start one if they have a lot of people that are wanting to be or are interested in being in the teaching profession. And then looking at opportunities to bridge that gap in between high school and college to make that transition a little more smooth, and then making sure that they're college and career ready before they get to college.
And real quick, you have experience with this. So say I'm somebody that wants to start. I say, hey, this all sounds great. I want to start a TAFE chapter. How do I do that?
The first thing to do, if they're at the college level, they really need to look at, okay, what does it all entail to become a student organization on the campus? There's usually a office, here it's the Student Orientation Leadership Engagement Office, or SOL, and they have to go through a process and create a constitution. They have to have officers, and then they have to have events, fundraisers, provide services to the community, and reach back out to the community and get exposure to being tutors or mentors back in the schools. So they're getting that experience.
And Cindy, same question. I'll kind of restate it. I know it was long-winded. I could kind of go. But is there anything that you think is important or you hope is mentioned or included to somebody maybe sitting at home on the other side of the camera? You say, hey, Garrett, I really hope this is included, or I think this is important to mention that maybe we glossed over. And I know, again, that's a broad question, so
Yeah.
it may not be. And I could go to Jerry first, too.
Well, I just want to
Yes.
kind of mention something called a teacher incentive allotment. And that was brought on by the Texas Education Agency. It's House Bill 3, started in 2019. And many districts are involved in it, and we became involved in it as Cohort D. So basically what it is to incentivize the teaching profession and allow teachers to get up to maybe 6-figure incomes. because it's going to be based on teacher performance. And when I say teacher performance, it's based on, of course, on their STAR results and then their T-test results. So a combination of those two gives them, they have to meet certain thresholds. And there's 3 levels of designations. There's recognized, there's exemplary, and there's masters. Now, your recognized can earn anywhere from about $5,000 to $9,000 extra. Your exemplary can earn anywhere from about $10,000 to about $17,000 extra, and your masters anywhere from $18,000 to $30,000 extra. Now, I'm talking gross amounts. Of course, there's federal income tax withheld, and these amounts all go towards the TRS, which is a retirement system. So it really ups the teacher's average, and that's a big incentive for them. Now, these rewards highly effective teachers. When I say highly effective teachers, it's those teachers that are bringing up their students in growth. Because this past year, we had a capture year, and we involved 6th, 7th, and 8th grade teachers, all in math and science. Math and reading, and they're STAR tested students. Because we need to have some kind of tracking system to see growth. So I tested in 6th grade. Let me see my growth from 6th to 7th for this particular teacher. And the minimum requirement for growth this past year was 83% of growth, and the T-test score had to be 3.5 or higher. And T-test, if you're not familiar with it, there's 4 domains to it, and the main domain we look at are domain 2 and 3, which is instructional and classroom environment.
This is something brand new.
Brand new, House Bill 3, 2019, and again, I believe there's cohort up to G now. We're cohort D as a district. And we plan to expand it. We submit our expansion to TEA, hopefully get it approved. So instead of just having 6th, 7th, and 8th, we're going to expand it to grades 3 to 8 and some end-of-course classes in high school, English and math.
So have teachers already been scored and receiving income based on this system, or is this?
This is something new. We just recognized. We're going to.
Okay.
In fact, we're having a ceremony for 39 teachers tomorrow that are being recognized. We had 2 master teachers in the group, 19 exemplary, 17 recognized. The recognized and your exemplary teachers can move up because this designation is for 5 years. So it goes on your certification for 5 years. So for 5 years, you're going to be receiving that amount. The amount is based on the socioeconomic status of the campus. So that may change from year to year depending on socioeconomic status. And again, this is to incentivize the profession, keep those highly effective teachers in areas where they're needed. And of course, rural areas in Texas where it's hard to keep teachers because they're rural areas.
Mm-hmm. So, but across the state, teachers are going to be eligible for this. I know you said there's based on campus and everything.
It's based on campus. It's based on the application the district submits. What subjects they're going to include, what teachers, what grade levels they're going to include, what types of rubric they're going to have. In our case, it's going to be T-tests and it's going to be the STAR results. Some may include other things like teacher portfolios, and that's when you start getting into areas where we are not STAR tested, like your K teachers. Mm-hmm. How do you track growth for a band teacher?
Yeah.
So we need to get a little bit more creative there and really, really be careful with how we track that growth to have that teacher meet that particular growth that is going to be required. So it gets complicated as we move into other areas, but it's something we want to expand hopefully in the future. And all this has to get passed through TEA and checks and balances. So they get it approved and we're good to go. But right now we're looking again at 3 to 8 and some end of course in math and reading.
So that it's just
that's a big thing. I think it's a big thing because it's going to allow these teachers to make more money, and of course keep those highly effective teachers in there. And now with a teacher shortage in Texas, hopefully this becomes larger and we get more teachers into the program. And that's one of our selling points when we go to job fairs. We are a TIA not TIA designate, but we are a TIA enrollment district, and we hope to gain some of these teachers. And in fact, I just want to mention one of our master teachers is only in his 3rd year of teaching, and he got that designation of master teacher.
So not just incentivizing to become a teacher, but I mean, like any profession, a lot of people want to, hey, what's a way that I could show that I am, a effective teacher? Mm-hmm. This is another way that's kind of showing
Correct.
That. Mm-hmm. And I do have to ask this question because it is written down specifically, and I know we've kind of talked over a lot, but Jerry, what are Laredo ISD's new teacher induction practices?
Again, we take them through a new employee orientation, and we make sure that they receive the teacher code of ethics and a lot of orientation in the T-test evaluation, because that's what they're going to get evaluated with.
Yes, sir.
Once they're in there, they get a letter of assignment letter for the campus that they're going to. Once they're at that campus, well, first thing we do is assign a full-time mentor. And again, that mentor is there basically to support their growth as a teacher and support in any other way that they can make them a better, highly effective teacher. And also, you got to remember that there's a team, like I mentioned, or there's a team of district main office personnel in the district that we do have them meet with that new teacher on maybe every week or every 2 weeks, and to make sure that teacher is on their way to becoming a successful teacher. Also, it's very important here is the T-test observations. The principal, the assistant principal, the team of main office personnel, curriculum and instruction personnel, go in there and do walkthroughs for that teacher. Because if they're not getting that feedback, that observation, that support, how can they grow? So it's really, it's a continuous growth. It's a continuous process. I mean, even I myself been here with the district 30 years, and you reflect and you say, well, I could do that better. I could do this better. So it's a continuous growth. It's not a got you system. It's more based on continuous growth and support.
And, kind of from the outside looking in, again, we're talking about a lot of, acronyms for specific programs and whatnot. But basically, kind of if I was going to boil it all down, we're talking about the cutting edge really practices across the state of now where we're seeing kind of what you were mentioning with Taffy and students starting in high school in any field, kind of what you were talking about.
Right.
I mean, the fields that you were going through was kind of,
Yes.
mind-boggling. And then the new incentives and the ways that teachers are now even at the administrative level now, being able to receive income and graded. I hope I'm boiling down the story here. Is there anything that you guys, again, I know I already asked this, did you say, Garrett, I'd like to mention this, I'd like to mention that?
No, I guess to take advantage of the opportunities. I don't think any of us had dual enrollment or certification route, or, for a long time, the workforce was seen, or the military was seen as a last resort. Like, well, you're not college bound, so you're doing this. That's not the way it works anymore. You can get certifications in areas and then become an educator in that field. And that even once you become an educator, there's room to grow. You can get your master's, your ED. You can, you can become a leader of leaders, and just the only way that you'll be able to reap that fruit or is to really take advantage of the opportunity. So I guess my message would be for the students in the middle and high is, hey, try it. Try it out and take advantage of all that stuff. It's free. Somebody's going to use it, so you might as well do it and see where it takes you. And that if you change paths at any point, it's okay.
Sounds like a great way to end, but I got Dr. Sampson, Jerry, anything you guys like to include?
No, I just want to say it gives a great opportunity to those individuals that probably were never thinking of becoming teachers. Like she mentioned, those welding teachers, law enforcement teachers, some computer teachers, even business teachers. They go through that program called District of Innovation. And basically what we look at they have to be 5 years full-time employed in the last 10 years in a supervisory position or higher. So a law enforcement individual probably has a peace officer's license. Hey, come on board and work with our kids in law enforcement. A welder may have been a foreman at a welding, business. Come on board, all the ins and outs of welding. So those are the individuals that sometimes they bring a lot of knowledge and wealth to our kids, and it's a lot of hands-on. It's what they need.
Yeah, hey, I've been in this career field for X amount of years. I'm good at it. Give back to the community and teach the next leading professionals that are going to, really fill your shoes.
And then they can like it and decide to get their master's in something, in education. So it is a circle. It's all connected. Yes.
And some of these, I'd like to mention, some of these individuals may have retired after maybe 20 years at a private field. They come on board with us, so it's a great deal. They're getting some retirement. They've got a salary over here, and then they're going to end up with another retirement with TRS. So not a bad deal.
Well, I mean, it also sounds like, because there's so many people that you see, even in a field like welding, and I've dealt with, people hands up, that you could tell they want to teach somebody, They've been working in this certain job for so long, and they know that they're good at it, but you could tell a lot of them would prefer to be able to teach somebody.
Yeah, yes. And then you create, as a district, we create partnerships with Holt Cat and Ford and again, different restaurants. It's just it's endless. My major was clinical lab science. I was going to go work at the CDC with like outbreak and be in the jungles, and probably COVID would have been like right up my alley. But I wanted to teach, and I went in there, and I was a science teacher, and then I liked counseling, so I got my master's in counseling, and then this that I do now is like a broader form of it. So you can still come back and keep learning and getting your degrees and growing and being better.
Correct.
So
Well, I hope we kind of talk through, and somebody will be able to, that watches this, get something out of it, or maybe, dive into some of these programs. And, I know from the outside looking in, I could say it seems kind of scattered, but I really am thankful for the stuff that you guys do. I think bettering the community, it's right here.
yes,
It's right here.
Come to LISD and TAMIU.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, and,
LIZ, the place to be.
The place to be. Yes.
and I think one major thing that we want to make sure that we're communicating is the importance of communication between the school districts and the university. We want to ensure that we're preparing the teacher candidates or anybody that's going through the educational preparation programs that are going to meet the needs of the community and the school districts that are here in our community, and then also preparing them to make sure that they're prepared to go out in a global society that they're going to be a part of and contributing to society. And one thing that we think is important is to have that innovation and having that transformational type of innovation that's going to elevate the education profession. And having that very important communication early on is important to have. And we want to make sure that, I can see this as the Laredo Legacy Project. We're trying to build the future.
That sounds nice.
So this is a legacy that we're going to bring back and continue to strengthen as the years pass. And it's great to be a part of that and to have individuals such as Jerry and Cindy to be a part of this and continue to strengthen it. And hopefully when we're getting more educators to come in and fill positions, we're continuing to do that.
Mm-hmm. That was a great
That's
way.
how we roll here.
Well, I do want to thank you guys for coming on, and I know I kind of said this earlier, but I really want to thank you guys for what you do, because like me, I work in local news, and we like to talk about all the time how we're serving the community, but you really don't see that until you get, right up in somebody's face like you guys that actually deals with the type of teacher, students. I mean, this is really developing the future of what our life is going to be like. And I really do mean that. I know it sounds kind of cheesy, but I do appreciate what you guys do. And I hope that people sitting at home or that watch this take away something and get involved. Because, like anything, it takes participation. Any type of project or profession that is going to better the lives of others, you have to participate. And I hope somebody, catches on to some of the things that you are doing and participates in them.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I didn't say bad words. Yeah.
No.
If you want to learn any more about the programs that we discussed today or Texas A&M International University, just head online or visit the links that we have included.